Let's see. During our last episode, which was quite a while ago, we were taking a look at I think we were testing our flow. We were testing out the game mechanics here. Yep, we got a game. How many games do we have? Just one. Okay. And then we were spending a lot of time over here in Flowland, seeing how does this all hold up. Monopoly, I think, is the toughest out of the shows. I think Monopoly is the toughest one to not the toughest, the most challenging one to work through, because it's a lot of logic, it's a lot of game, and there's just a lot to work through. So as we'll see with the flow here in a second, I'm gonna tell all our friends out in internet land that we be streaming, and then we'll get going with this again. I want to just keep walking the flow, really, and seeing how the game holds up as we do that. Let's just do this. Off to the side, posting on the Twitters and the... Oh, come on now. Posting to the Twitters and the LinkedIns that we're making trouble over here. Episode 27. Forceopoly is live. Salesforce. Dude, put that over there on LinkedIn too. And publish now. Okay. And there we go. All right. Okay, let's get into it. Flows. Let's begin at the beginning, right? Create a new game. Make sure that whole experience is working, getting things the way we expect them to, and then we'll dig in. I want to step through create new game real quick, and then get into take turn, because I think that's where we were finding some stuff that needed updates. And if I take a look at our backlog here, did we have anything? I don't think we really had anything that we were missing. While I'm here, though, let's just do a quick poll. Forceopoly is an interesting project too, because it takes us deep into the org from a flow perspective. So I don't end up doing a whole lot of... Yeah, we don't have any updates here. I don't know if the latest is out in the repo, though. Anyway, it takes us pretty deep into Flowtown, so there's not a lot of... I mean, we did some Lightning Web Component stuff, figure out how to build a board, but now that we're back into the game itself, we're definitely heavy in the flow. All right, let's make a game. Make sure that this is still doing everything we expect it to. So debug this. And run. Welcome. Pick your players. I probably should add another player or another user to this org so we can have a couple of players. I'll see if I can script that while we're looking at this today. Okay, there's player 1. Loop around, come to player 2. Just going to play same user, two players. All right, they're the boot. Got to have 2 players, so no more players after that. And we're off to the races, all done. How did we do? We made a new game. And what did we get? Oh, we got our board there. Let's see. All right, we have a game. Current turn is not populated. We need to check on... Oh, here's our bugs. Create game needs to check current turn box on first turn. All right, so we're not doing that. I don't think, because it didn't populate here. New game should know what a current turn is. So we'll fix that. Is broke, we'll fix. Players, we got our 2 players. Game properties, copied all those over. Turn, we popped off the first turn for the game, and that turn looks like our player that is the current turn. So we're checking that box. So that's good. I think we just need our new game to respond to that fact and slot this into that field that's on the game. So, okay, let's do that first. I'm going to be very systematic and let's fix the bugs that we find as they go. Well, that's the turn. I don't want the turn. I want the game. All right, so current turn should be populated with game 02, and let's go fix that. Insert game, load players, pick our players, loop through our player picker, insert players, get properties, loop through and make our game properties, get next player, insert first turn, and then update. Let's say update game, update game first, current turn equals first turn. Okay, so we're going to update. Do we have a new game? Well, let's do it this way. We'll say object game. The ID equals the game ID that we got when we created our game. If I can find it. Game ID from insert game. And current turn equals the ID from our new turn. Insert first turn. There we go. Okay. Save you and we'll retest. And then today, what did we do? We added 1020. Set current turn as first turn on game. Okay. And we'll activate that. And we'll rerun it. Welcome. Picking players. All right. Got another game. Game 3. Current turn. Good is the first turn. And everything else should be, looks like it's intact. So, all right, we got that one done. So create new game needs to check current turn on box. That wasn't actually the problem. But I believe we've got that one knocked out. So then we're into take turn. Create new game created one full game and one empty one. That didn't happen again. I feel like we fixed that last time. Does card shuffle take away the get out of jail card? I think that's still an open issue, so we'll hold on that one. But I think we're through create new game. We survived that flow. And honestly, that's kind of the easy one. So, but set up everything the way that we expect, and now take turn is the monster that we need to spend time in. I guess I don't know if it's a monster per se. I mean, there is a lot going on. There's a lot of branching logic to a Monopoly game. Who knew? And okay, yeah, I remember. So we took some notes here. I was trying to think about how are we gonna refactor take turn so it looks a little more sane. In other words, I think this one big flow is like 5 or 6 subflows all together. So we have a phase where we evaluate the roll. We have a phase where we position the landing, or maybe handle the landing, right? So we could call this roll phase. We call this move phase. We have property phase. We have card phase. And then we probably have some other, let's call this land. Yeah, I don't know. Move, could be roll/move or move/land, whatever you want to, whatever. That's, I think there's those 4 phases there. So if I look in our flow, we've got our roll phase. There's a little setup at the start here too, right? We got to load up the turn that's being run, and this is a screen flow. So I think we need to kind of just like new game, right? We need to put that somewhere so that a new game can be started. Maybe there's over in Rock Paper Scissors we have a dashboard or an app page called the RPS Arena. So maybe Forceopoly needs needs a dashboard too. You can go there and start a game from that instead of just having to go into the flow. And actually just put the flow on the page. I think that's probably fine. The flow, I suspect, will probably evolve into either a Lightning Web component or some components inside the flow. I could see user selection getting a little easier, look a little more elegant in an LWC. But I digress. For now, let's head through take turn. The turn in question is the first turn that we have in the game, so we have to preload some data, initialize the player, which we can. How do we get that? We can get that from the turn itself, I believe. Yep. So we send in the turn, and right, so we're just passing the record ID. Again, hypothetically, we could probably pass in the turn itself instead of having to do this extra query once we attach this to something. I don't know. We put a button on the turn object, and or the turn page, and then you could run it from there. Or again, kind of similar to rock paper scissors. Maybe there's a stream of you could be in multiple games, multiple turns, and we display that a certain way. But for now, we'll just pass in the record ID and kick it off. We need to load the game jail or the jail game property because it's special. Create our kind of hydrate our player record, if you will. Roll the dice, get the results, tell the player what we rolled, and then determine where are we going from there, based on, are you going to jail? Is it your first? If it's the first turn of the game, what do we? Then we're just going to set the position to roll. Otherwise, we're going to set the position to a formula. So let's run the first turn and see where it breaks. I recall last time we were running the first turn over and over again, which is probably how we got into all these problems. The first bug we had, a take turn should query where current turn equals true or user ID equals the player related to the current turn. Take turn should query where equals current turn. Right, because if we pass it a turn, if we pass this a turn, you could play anybody's turn right now. And that doesn't sound very fair. So we kind of need to, make sure that it's a current turn. So let's put a condition, let's put a decision here and say, can this turn be played? Question mark. Yes. Well, let's say no, because I think I know those conditions better. No, but yes. No. If record or what turn? If load turn current turn is false, it shouldn't be played. Or maybe, okay, I'm flipping the logic. We want to do the yes condition first, right? We're going to say it can only be played if it's the current turn That's already in use. What? Okay, here, I'll do my API naming logic here. It can only be played if it's the current turn, and if the user, right, the player, load turn, player, whoops, dot user is the current user in the flow. Oh wait, that's not, no, it's not the flow. It's, what is that, user? Yeah, global variable, user.id, boom. So you can't play it if it's not the current turn, and you can't play it if this basically doesn't let you cut in line or replay. I mean, I know it's not like a bomb-proof field. We'll have to... current turn suddenly becomes a very sacred field that we can't just willy-nilly check the box on and off of, but we'll handle that with security. And then the user, you have to be the player associated with the turn. No one can play for you, at least for now. And probably forever, because I'm guessing it's a really bad idea to just play on someone else's behalf, right? So those are the two conditions. Only those are valid. And if not, then we're going to bail out. Actually, wait, no, we'll don't do that. Let's select elements. If this is not true, we'll show a screen. I don't know what screen we're up to. Not. This is screen 5, maybe? Nope. Screen 6. I don't get the point of the label because it doesn't show anywhere anyway on these. So, and display text 6. No. 7, sure. Let's see, no cheating. It's not your turn. Okay. We could probably have more descriptive language there because we can know if a turn has been played or if it's not the user or, whatever. But for now, good enough, no cheating. Okay. And then if we end up down this path, then we're going to... oh shoot, we got to short circuit everything down to the end, I think. Yep. Head down there. Does that look right? Can this be played? No, it cannot. Go all the way down. Probably a little cleanup to do on the ends here, but that's okay. All right, that should. So how do we cheat? I don't have another turn yet, so maybe I'll mark this as test. Right, we need a few more turns to go in and try that one. Take turn. What does eval monopoly do? Oh, I think I remembered what eval monopoly does. That evaluates the game property if the game property is a monopoly. So I think I know what that is now. I just built the thing. I don't know how it actually works. That doesn't happen to any of us, right? Okay, so we answered that one. Take turn, get next player, pass the game ID, or get from player record. So, okay. Take turn, populate merge fields. Take turn, game property, property color is null. Take turn, we bought chance. Take turn, set the current player on the next turn. All right. All of these sound like very valid possible errors that I don't have any evidence for, so I'm going to take my turn and let's see what happens. So let's save a new version of this. I'm not going to write details in the descriptions yet because I think we're going to be in a very volatile state with running this. or even before we activate it again. Okay, so we need a turn. I'm over on the game that we most recently created. I'm going to grab this turn ID, and we'll go to the debug, and let's see how we go for a walk here. Your turn, click next to roll. Roll. I rolled a 3, which means I rolled a 2 and a 1, I guess. Yep. Okay. I rolled a 3. Where's that going to take us? Let's make sure it's taking us to where we actually should go. That would be good. This is going to take us to 1, 2, 3. It should take us to Baltic Avenue. All right. And if I zoom in here, this might be a good time to add our Lightning Web component that shows the step that we're on, right? We rolled the dice. It lets us know we rolled a 3. So I think here we could indicate where we are, either here or maybe here. We put another screen, and we could show the property that we landed on. Oh, yeah, because load game property by position. So here we want to show a screen. Okay, let's do that. Just kind of stub it in for right now. Now my turn's not over, so I think I can just bail on this. Let's go see. That would actually be really smart if I just didn't bail on the, I'm sorry, if I bailed on the turn before it was over. Yeah, everything stays the same because we didn't write anything out yet. Which is probably something that we have to look at, because if people just don't like their roll, they could, there's there's a bug here. If you take turn, if you bail on the turn, you can restart / re-roll. We don't want that. Okay. Note, duly noted. What is this? Screen 7. And display text. AT7. No, I got 2 display texts on a page somewhere. It's throwing me all off. So you landed on. And then what is that previous step? Game property from load. Is it this one? Load property by position. Yeah, load property by position. Dot property dot name. You landed on something. Hopefully we did that right. Okay. Debug. And run. Your turn. Roll. Rolled a 10. Ooh, big number. Where's that going to take us? I kind of wish we ended up back on a smaller number, because I think 10 is going to take us to jail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Whoops. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay. We're going to jail, but it's just visiting. So let's see if we actually get there. You landed on jail. All right. Let's run it again. Rolled a 7. You landed on chance. Did we? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yes. Okay. It worked twice. It worked right twice. I'll say that the math is working. I'm gonna roll again. Rolled a 4. Income tax. Roll again. Rolled a 9. I think that's a property. Connecticut Ave. Okay. Good. So let's look at Connecticut Ave. So this is the path of. I feel like I should put in a debug variable that's like fake roll, so we can land on stuff that we want to and test it. because this will take us down the path of property that is not bought yet. I don't think we have any game property. Property color is null. Let's take a look at that. Let's go take a look at let's take a look at our game properties. Really should update this so we can see the name of the property. Let's do that real quick because I am going to have no idea which is which here. So let's go into the game property. We might already have maybe we have a formula for this already. Property color, property position. We've already created a couple for color and position. Let's do property name. It should look exactly like, or almost exactly like property color. New. I don't think we'll use this in the game, but I think this is useful for us to see in our related lists. Good. Oh, I have to update that setting for the for that beta feature that lets you pick the permission sets. Is that in user interface? I must be looking in the wrong spot. Someone pointed me at it on the chat last night, and I can't remember what they said. But this is the feature that allows you to add permission settings while creating new records or new fields. I don't see it. Shucks. Okay, well, we'll do it the old way. Monopoly admin. All right. Jacket. I'm too warm, and now I'm gonna be too cold, guaranteed. Let's see. Okay. Okie dokie. Object. This is on game property. Hey, we got all blurry, and we're back. No, we're not. Yes, we are. Okay. Property name. Cool. Okay, so now we can go over to the game object and update the page layout, the related list for game properties, and put the name out there so we can actually see which is which. Property game, or game property, property name. Let's put the type out there too, just so we know what's what. And refresh. Okay, that's a little better. Community chest, Connecticut Ave. I probably should put the position out here too. I'll do that. Let's do that real quick. Position. Refresh. Okay. Connecticut Ave, this is where we are. No owner, not mortgaged, not part of a monopoly. The rent is $8. Let's look at the property itself. Has a color. Okay, so we're good there. This is what I want to show when you land and it's not owned. And then I think this is what I want to, well, maybe we just always show, I don't know, we could always show the deed. But let's see, let's put that on the list. Let's see, take turn, show deed on screen, show deed LWC on screen, so I remember that we actually have that. So game property color is null. I'm not seeing that happening right now. So I'm going to give that 3 question marks because I don't think that's happening. Not sure. Okay, let's continue our turn then. We're on Connecticut Ave. What's going to happen next? We are going to not hit any of these in the landing phase. We're not going to jail. We're not on go. So now we're evaluating. We have not rolled doubles 3 times. We are going to go down this path, the property where there's no owner. When the owner is the current player, we'd go down here. When the owner is somebody else, we'd go this way. This is really like, this is property. We're evaluating property, right? This is the property phase. I feel like maybe the 3 double rolls can move up a little bit, so we can. This doesn't have to. I think some of the logic can move into more logical segments of the flow, but for right now, we'll just give that the right name. Property phase. Okay, no owner, so we're gonna buy this. I'm pretty sure. This should say, property is not owned by anyone. Would you like to buy it for money? If you do not buy Connecticut Ave, it will go up for auction. Auction is nowhere near our we're going to have to build eBay in Salesforce to run our Monopoly auctions. That'll be an adventure. I think right now it doesn't matter what I pick here. It's just going to buy. Well, I guess as long as I say yes, it's going to buy. So when we buy, what do? We update the game property to say who the owner is. Yep, that's the owner field. Is that the owner? Is that the standard owner field? No, that's custom owner field. We take money from the player, which is equal to the amount of the property cost. We set the outcome equal to buy property, because I think that's the end result of this step. Uncheck the current turn and then save it. Turn outcome phase, eval Monopoly. We go and check to see if we now have a monopoly after buying that phase. So get next player. Did we have a bug here? Get next player, pass game ID, or get from player record. So I remember working on this. Get next player. We're passing a player. We're passing the current player and passing the game ID. I think we fixed that because we want to make sure that we get the second player. For some reason, we were just like getting the same player every time. So I think we're past that. And then the end turn decisions. If there's no outcome, basically this is really like, I'm sorry, did you roll a double? So no double is really the default outcome. I think we could maybe get rid of that. What is the logic here? Roll double or no double? See, again, I think we can short circuit a few steps. We don't need to, if we're going to jail, we should go to jail and then just hit the bottom of the hit the end. We don't need to evaluate it here again. And really, if whether we rolled with that in mind, whether we rolled a double or not, I don't know if we care. As long as we can bypass. So I don't think end turn decisions is actually needed. Well, hold on. Let's see. I lied. If you rolled a double, then it's your turn again. Insert current player as next turn. Update current turn. This should probably be the same, right? I think we can consolidate this. Maybe not. No, it's a little more complicated than that. We should probably just have a step where we're building the turn. We are doing that up here. Oh no, that's the current turn. This is where we're inserting the turn, and then we have to update the game's current turn, which really should be either of these, right? So if we were creating a turn further up a little bit more generically, then the only logic we have to do here is specify what user is assigned to that turn, and we could tidy that up a little bit. But I think it works for now. Let's just say end turn decisions. Take turn, end turn decisions equals what are we trying to say? Messy, simplify logic. Someday. Okay. Okay, so we're going to buy Connecticut Ave. And then if I back up a little bit, where are we going to end up? We're going to end up, we're here. And then we're going to basically be done. I think that's it. Yep. All done. Okay. So we should have a new turn. And we do. Turn 4 is the current turn with the player who is the boot. Yes, okay. Meanwhile, on the last turn, the player was the battleship. We're not setting current property. I just noticed that. I don't know if we care. I'm trying to remember why we would have made that field, because I don't know if it matters. We kind of know it, right? Well, let's look at this is the player. So if I go back to the turn, this was the game property result. We bought it. I think this lets us know what's going to happen there, right? Now, then also, if we look at, whoops, we have this notion of the next turn and the previous turn. So this turn 4, the player is the boot. The previous turn, we know what that was. This previous player's turn, they haven't taken one yet. I want to take one more look at the last turn. We rolled a 9. We did not roll a double. Okay. All right. I mean, I think it worked. I think it worked. So now it's the other player's turn. And fortunately, that is also me. So we can... Oh, now let's test something else, right? We should not be able to run that turn again. No cheating. It's not your turn. All right, cool. Finish. All done. Run again. No cheating. It's not your turn. Good. Doing what it's supposed to. We didn't make it. Did we make any changes here? don't know if we did. I don't think we did. I don't know. Okay, so let's take the next turn. Here it is. And so now this is the boot player. And roll your take your click. You click next. Roll. Yes. Roll to 10. Roll to double. Cool. Can we do it again? Roll to 9. All right. So this is going to Connecticut Avenue again. So this is going to be the player has to pay rent. I want to run that path now. So let's see. We rolled a 9. Is that right? Yeah. Rolled a 9. You landed on Connecticut Ave. Dun, dun, dun. So now it should tell me, well, what's it going to tell me? Property is owned. You landed on property that is owned by owner. You owe owner money. Okay. And then it's going to, how about we put take, turn, fix all the merge fields. Okay. Then we're going to pay rent. So pay rent is a subflow that takes in the property and the player and then kicks out, well, it doesn't do anything right now. So what is pay rent on the flow? Do we actually do any kind of calculation there? I feel like it does. I feel like it kind of steps through the conditions here. Load the owner. Very, very simple right now. So it just loads the owner of the game property, which is that's getting their player record. Yeah, so it gets the player record. I should say load owner player. Well, we don't have to change that right now. Pay. The money, we subtract the rent. The money, we add the rent. And then, yep, we're going to update both of the, we're going to add these two records to the player collection, and we're going to update those. Okay, so, I mean, that should work. That's, you know, I think we have to say take turn. What is that? Let's take turn, pay rent. Logic needs to get more complex. Okay. Then we update the players. Okay, so that should happen. Uncheck current turn. Outcome. You're definitely not going to... We didn't buy property, so we don't need to evaluate the if we have a monopoly or not. That will get more interesting when we can barter for slots or for properties. But again, we're nowhere. I think we're not bartering for. We're not doing trades until after we do auction. Okay, and that should fall through. That was not a double, so we should go back to the turn of the other player. So let's see what happens here. Next, you landed on property that is owned by owner. You owe owner money. I think what we're going to need to do is, like, there's a difference between paying rent and calculating rent, right? I think we do need a separate calculate rent subflow, because it'll just be easier to go figure out the rent and tell the main screen what to display here, and then have to, like, I don't know, somehow go get it and bring it back and then go get it again. Okay, you owe owner money, Next. All done. Okay. Let's look at our game. I want to add a few more fields here. I want to add money. I guess we'll add peace. Let's add user. And maybe current property. We're not doing current property, are we? I don't think we are. Okay. User peace money. So now we should be on turn 5. We should have a turn 5 on game 3. We do. Cool. And then we have some money situation going on here. Yep. Player 4, the battleship took $8. The boot lost $8. So there you go. Capitalism. And that worked. So I think I'm just gonna put like some yay in here. Take turn. Take turn buy property is working. Take turn pay rent. Kind of easy mode, right? Mode is working. And we can close out pay rent for now. I think we're going to need... We're going to have to fake our way through rolling doubles, I think. Maybe a little script that generates those records. That might be... We might need that. Because I think everything in the property phase is like, that's that, right? Testing the go phase is we're gonna have to either play longer or fast forward our way through that. But we could script that condition, or even unit test some of these conditions, right? Feels like we're closing in on that kind of situation where some of these would just benefit from from a unit test that confirms what the outcome was. The good news is we can fake any move or any turn, I think. Let's see. Related. So this was our first turn. We can say whatever we want to land on here, right? So I could start... Let's see, where's the value that tells us where we're starting from position-wise? Load game jail property, turn state. If it's the first turn is defined as there is no previous player turn on the turn. All right, so we could just... I guess we could fake that. We put in one turn, and then we say where we end. We could even roll, we could roll like 39 on the first. We wouldn't do that, obviously, but we could fake that, or even just have a script play through, this player, that player, this player, that player, get us to a state where we can roll. We can quickly fast forward to different roles. So I think that's probably a little bit of what we need to do is like turn write some scripts to simulate game conditions. Maybe we can do a little bit of that after. Take a quick break and grab a drink. Put a new the window out here. We'll be right back. It's more content. I have just been talking to all of you for the last 40 minutes with my mic muted, and that is super bummer. No. Oh, I'm embarrassed. That big X. Oh, I did it. I did that thing. I got a different button right here that I should. Does this work? Yeah. Wow. Yeah, my mic. You probably can't see it. We've been enjoying. I'm glad you've been enjoying the silent show for the last 40 minutes. It's probably better just watching than listening to me talk anyway. 27 episodes, ladies and gentlemen. I know exactly what I'm doing. Yeah. Well, in case you probably missed, the last 47 minutes, we found some bugs, fixed some bugs. I think I'm going to go down the rabbit hole of creating a transaction object for Forceopoly so that we can see how money, and it could be, let's see, transactions are what? They're money, they're property, right? We can track that the bank gave this person this property. Perhaps the transactions can relate to the turn that was being taken, if there was a turn being taken. Not all transactions need a turn. The start of the game, for example, everybody gets $1,500, so that's a transaction that doesn't have a turn. If two people want to trade, one of those players is in a turn, one of those players is not. You could be playing with 6 people and be like 3 turns away, and then somebody says, "Hey, I'll give you this for that." So we could track that. I wonder if transaction also helps us with the auction logic, right? Because the bank is putting something up for, So I think a transaction is. I got to think about that, right? Because let's see. Not all transactions are financial. Not all transactions involve our property. So I wonder if we get away with a single transaction object or not. But anyway, that's probably so. I'm saying all this because I'm looking at this player record here, and this player passed go, so they got $200, and then they bought Baltic Ave, which I think is 60, and I think previously bought Oriental Ave, like kind of on accident. Let's look at the game properties and see who's the owner of what. Do I have that on the? We should put owner out here, I think. What was that? Page layout, properties, game properties. Let's add owner. Okay, yeah. So Vermont's 100. So it probably makes sense that bought Vermont and then bought Baltic. So when we bought Vermont, we went from 1,500 to 1,400. When we passed go, we went from 1,400 to 1,600. And when we bought Baltic, we went from 1,600 to 1,540. So I think I think the math is right. Yep, 1540. But I still think, and what I don't have is any evidence that we passed go. We know we did, and the robots gave us the money, and that was nice. But I think a little transaction will help. And I feel like that just might make life easier too if we can just kind of dump transactions in rather than have to just do the math. Plus, nothing for nothing, it'll be kind of cool to see like how much transacting took place during the game. So, yeah, that'd be cool. All right, let's see. I feel like this is a good place to stop for today. We've got some things to fix. We confirmed that at least insofar as passing go, we got $200. Still have to get the $400 scenario to play out. Which part of me feels like I need like a short circuit roll value to pass in for debug purposes into the flow. And that way we can just say, hey, we're running a debug. I'm rolling this turn. I want to roll a 2 and understand what the output is there. So let's, I'm going to add that to the list. Take turn debug value for roll. Let's do that. Okay. Yeah, not bad. Sorry I was miming the last 40 minutes of the show. Appreciate folks hanging out. We'll wrap a couple minutes early today because it is the work day and I got to get back to the other job, the Red Argyle job, and do some work to finish out the day there. But this is good. I'm happy to say that we are taking turns buying property, paying rent, passing go. Those look pretty good so far. Definitely some cleanup to do. Definitely some, to think about this transaction thing. And yeah, but I feel pretty good about progress, and maybe there's a couple minutes to between now and next show to make a few updates. Let's do one thing. Let's get all of the metadata that has been changed, and let's put that into the repository, so we're not sad when our repo or our scratch org suddenly disappears and we got nothing. Right? That's never fun. This was episode 27. Not terribly descriptive, but that's kind of been my MO for doing the pushes here. Let's commit the stage changes. Oh boy. What? Okay, I guess that's unexpected. Sync changes. All right, I got something going on with my... Oh, I added a Git component or extension, and I think it's giving me heartburn here, so I'm not going to bore y'all with that on screen. Invalid username. Okay. Let's take a look at that, see what's going on. For now, fixing Git is all not high on my list, but we'll get it figured out. All right, signing off for now. Thanks for hanging out. You can't do that on Salesforce. This has been Forceopoly.